Welcome to ThroughOnGoalTV, and this is my first ever video on YouTube. In this video I'm going to talk about the transfer business my favorite club, Juventus, did this season. Let's check it out. Before I start the video, I want to mention why do I feel the need to make this video. Well, I think with the signing of Cristiano Ronaldo, which of course we are going to talk about later on in the video, a lot of transfer business Juventus made this season was a little bit overshadowed by this huge signing. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, as you can see on the screen, I'm going to show some FIFA footage so you can see the players we bought, we sold, and also the formations I think Juventus will play next season. First, I want to talk about the players that left the squad, and I want to share my thoughts on them. I think the first one is quite obvious, the most heartbreaking one for every Juventus fan, and it's of course Gianluigi Buffon. Leaving on a free to Paris Saint-Germain after 17 years playing for Juventus is a hard decision, not just for him, but for everyone. Not only did we lose a great goalkeeper, but also we lost our captain, a club legend, and also a great sportsman that had a special place in the fans' hearts. But from a sports perspective, how bad is it that Gianluigi Buffon left Juventus? Well, for me, to be honest, I think in terms of pure goalkeeping, it doesn't change a lot. I think we didn't lose that much quality. I think the goalkeepers we have right now have really good qualities, and I think they can make the job. The thing that I'm more concerned about is the fact that we lost a commanding character at the back. He commanded the defenders, he celebrated tackles like they were goals, he pushed everyone to give everything, and I think we're going to miss that. With all this said, I still hope that I can see Gianluigi Buffon lift the Champions League trophy, as long as if it's not against Juventus. Then the other goalkeeper that left is Leali. He went out on loan a couple of times. He never had the quality to compete with all the other goalkeepers that were in Juventus, so I think there's not much to say about him. Caldara is an interesting one though, because he never had a competitive game for Juventus. Because we bought him last year and Juventus sent him back on loan again straight after, and he played for Atalanta, which, to be honest, he had a very good season. I was impressed by him. It was only this year that he came to Juventus, where he played one match in pre-season and then he was sold to AC Milan, because he was part of the swap deal for Bonucci. I think it's a shame that he never had the chance to prove himself at Juventus, but at the same time, we must understand that Juventus had the opportunity to get a world-class centre-back without splashing the cash. The other choice would have been to include Rugani in the deal, but if you have Rugani, who knows the teammates, who knows the tactics, then it's better to get rid of Caldara instead, because Rugani is already in the squad and he can play a better part, I think, than Caldara. Then we have Juventus, who Juventus decided not to buy after 1 year loan at the club. I think it's sad to see, because I have no doubts in his qualities, but unfortunately his injuries did him dirty and he never really had the chance to show what he's got. The next two are nearly irrelevant because they never really played for Juventus and they never were good enough to play for this club, so Juventus decided to sell Garcia and Untersee. Then Quadro Asamoah has gone to Inter Milan on a free. I think it's not ideal to give a player of that quality to one of your rivals for free, but that's what it is. It's not the end of the world. He wasn't the best player anymore. He was good back in the days when Antonio Conte signed him, where he started as a left midfielder in a 3-back formation, and now he has converted himself to a left back, where he found himself being the replacement for Alexandro. Of course, he wants to have more game time, and I think at Inter Milan he will get that. Stefan Lichtsteiner left the club and signed for Arsenal. He also left for free. I was always a big fan of him because I think he's a solid defender, he is commanding, and he has a great understanding of the game. He is a true fighter and he always kept fighting for his place in the team. I remember when Juventus signed De Sciglio, he was dropped from the Champions League squad and he still kept fighting for his place without moaning about. I think with him leaving, we lost another leader, and I think he still has a lot to offer. I do personally think that Arsenal got themselves very lucky to get this player on a free. Then we have Mandragora, another player that never really fitted the team, and after a couple of loans, Juventus finally decided to sell him to Udine, which I think is the best decision for the club and the player. And now we have Sturaro. He has been sent on loan to Sporting Lisbon, a club that at the moment we all know have a little bit of difficulties, to be honest. And I think that Sturaro never was really good enough to play at this high level that Juventus want to compete. And I think a loan deal is good for him because I think he's going to have a lot more game time and I think he will need that. Piaka though is an interesting one. After he was sent 1 year on loan to Schalke, he came back and now we loaned him out to Fiorentina and they have the option to buy him after his loan. At the same time, Juventus put in a buyback clause in the deal, so that shows to me that they're not really sure if they want to get rid of him or not. I think we should have kept him for this season because with his abilities, because he's big, strong and fast, I think he could have been the backup for Ronaldo and Mandzukic, and of course he can play on the left wing and as a striker, which would have been perfect for a backup. And then of course there's Higuain, another player that has been involved in the Bonucci deal with AC Milan. He now is sent on loan to AC Milan. We get 18 million for that, and afterwards AC Milan still has the option to buy him. Higuain himself said that he had fear that his place in the team wasn't granted anymore because of the signing of Ronaldo, and he didn't want to face that challenge because he wants to have regular football for sure. I think keeping Mandzukic instead of Higuain is actually the better decision because I think Mandzukic is more versatile than Higuain because he can play on the left wing and as a striker, and I think Mandzukic will accept better not to play every single minute of the season, which where Higuain, I think he will start to moan about, and then there would just be conflicts between the managers and the players. I just hope this deal doesn't bite us back because we literally gave AC Milan, one of our biggest rivals, one of the best strikers in the league. Overall, I think the swap deal was a better deal for AC Milan than for Juventus because they replaced Bonucci with a young promising centre-back and they took off one of the best strikers in the league from one of their biggest rivals, whereas we only got an old centre-back. But we have to consider that Juventus got themselves a world-class centre-back without splashing around all that money, and at the same time they got rid of some players that weren't really part of the first team. Some quick words on Marchisio. As I'm recording this video right now, there are rumors that Marchisio won't fulfill his contract and that he leaves Juventus for absolutely nothing. Which would be a shame because he's a club icon and I'm a big fan of Claudio Marchisio, but at the end of the day there's so much competition in that centre mid role that he won't get any playing time at this club anymore. Now let's have a look on the players we bought this season, which are additions to the team, and then afterwards I will show you the formation I think we should play. The first player we got here is Mattia Perin, who is a very good goalkeeper from Genoa. I think he's 25 years of age, and he's really promising. I even think he could be better than Szczesny. Then of course there is Bonucci. We got him back after he was 1 year at AC Milan, which, to be honest, he wasn't really that good of a player. But still, I think we missed him last year so much. I think Benatia is good, but Bonucci is just rock solid and commanding, and he doesn't make mistakes. And his long balls are a threat for every opponent. And then we have Cancelo. He's going to be the replacement for Lichtsteiner. Last season he was on loan to Inter Milan, and Inter Milan didn't want to pay that much money for him, so Juventus got in and bought him from Valencia. I think he's going to be a good player, and with good training he's going to be solid. Then of course we have Emre Can, who we got technically on a free, but apparently there are rumors that we got him some pocket money in worth of 18 million or something about that. I think he's going to help this team in terms of squad depth, because he can play as a defensive centre mid but also a little bit more attacking, and he's an option for right back or maybe even a right centre back position. The next two players aren't technically new because we had them, but they came back from loan. Like Spinazzola, he's going to be the replacement for Asamoah, because he can play as a left mid and as a left back. He also had a couple of games on the right back position, but mostly on left back position, which I think he's going to be a good squad player and a good replacement for Asamoah. Now Keane is the only second option we had now as a striker. He's only 18 years old and he's not really proved that he's capable of playing at. I think he has a lot of talent, but I just don't think that he's quite ready yet. Therefore, I wasn't too keen on sending Piaka out on loan. And then of course the big one, Cristiano Ronaldo. One of the very best footballers this world has ever seen, if not the best. I think with him, this squad is going to come on the next level. I think Juventus was very strong in the last couple of years, but now with this signing, it may take us on another level. Now of course, paying 105 million euros for a player that's over 30 years old is a lot of money from a sports perspective. But then, if you look at it from a commercial perspective, it's absolutely nothing, because with only the shirts, Juventus can make back that money very quickly. Now, I will show you two formations I think that Juventus could play during the season, and also how the new players are getting involved in that squad. Here you can see on the screen the formation I think Juventus will play most of the time, and that's a 4-3-3 with an attacking midfielder in Dybala playing behind the striker. Now let's start at the back. I put Szczęsny in goal. Why did I put Szczęsny in goal? Well, I think because Szczęsny did spend a year at Juventus, I think he will get to start the season, but then maybe during the season, if Perrin hits the ground running, maybe then it might change. But honestly, I think having those two goalkeepers at that high level is a really good option for Allegri. Then we have our back four. No real surprises here. I put Alexandre at left back as always. Chiellini as our captain in the center back spot next to Bonucci, our new signing technically. And then of course at right back, Cancelo. Also, we have great options from the bench, because we have Benatia, Berzagli and Rugani who can replace Chiellini or Bonucci once they're injured or they can't play because of yellow cards or anything else, if they need a rest for the Champions League. Then for midfield I choose Matuidi, Pjanic and Dybala. Matuidi really impresses me with his work rate. He's a hard worker, and I think he, next to Pjanic, who then can have the freedom to make the game, to be the playmaker he wants, the deep playmaker, is the best choice for Juventus. Now I'll put Dybala in a cam spot, not on the wing. Why? just because I think on the wing we have Costa, and I think he's a better winger than Dybala is. I also think the abilities that Dybala has in the number 10 role are better than anyone else in the team. Now that's one of the bigger questions the Ronaldo signing has, and that is, who's going to play in a striker? Is it Mandzukic or Ronaldo? Well, here in my example I put Ronaldo as a striker and Mandzukic on the left wing, but I do believe that they might swap from time to time depending on who they're playing. I think if we play against a strong opponent and has a lot of the ball, I think Mandzukic will play as a left winger. He does more for the defense, and I think Ronaldo is more clinical up front. But then on the other hand, if we play against a weaker side where we have a lot of the ball, I think Ronaldo is going to go on the wing and Mandzukic as a striker position. Why? Well, that's simple because I think Ronaldo on the wing can create more danger than Mandzukic, and therefore they are more of a threat like this. Now you can see a 3 at the back formation, which is what I think will be the formation if they will rest a lot of their key players. As you can see, they have the opportunity to have 22 really good players, because this team can cause a lot of problems to the majority of Serie A clubs. So that's it for my first ever video. If you liked the video, please hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned for more. Arrivederci.